Now, when we come to CRM, right, I just want to allude to that, which is like the granddaddy of like, revenue automation tools, but perhaps just as a category.
Yeah.
And of course, the CRMs existed before Salesforce, but Salesforce really paved the way for like, cloud-based thing. What we now know is everything's on the cloud, right?
Yeah.
So, but yet I when I work with clients, inevitably I find that they really underutilize, whether it's Salesforce or some other CRM platform. They go in one or two directions. They use it as just a big Rolodex, okay, or they've configured it so incredibly in such a complex way that no one understands what's there, and the salespeople hate it. So
Mhm.
they just hate the fact that they have to update so many things
Yeah.
because somebody thought, well, gee, it'd be great if we had reporting at like the 18th atomic level of detail, right? So
Mhm.
what do you advise a client when they're saying, well, we haven't really done much. We have Salesforce, we've had it for a couple of years. We're not really using it the way we think it should be used. You'll hear that. I'm sure you hear that all the time. What's the best advice? Like, what do you think is the first, like, a 1 year process to take advantage of Salesforce for companies that already have it, or they have Zoho, or they have one of the other CRM platforms?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it is a database of all of your customers, right? So it is able to help you understand that relationship that you have with them and be able to track, in essence, over time, what's going on with that customer. One of the things that we always try to make sure that we see companies do is, if you have doesn't matter what CRM you have, you want to be able to make sure that your email is integrated in with it. So that way, every email activity that happens with the customer is, of course, saved in Salesforce or whatever CRM you have. Same thing goes with any of the inbound or outbound calls or text messages. You want to make sure that those activity histories can be saved on that customer because, while you might be a sales rep here today, your role might change next month and you might become a customer success person. You no longer are in the sales organization. Somebody else has to pick up that contact and know exactly what has been happening. So, from a really simple perspective, you have to make sure that all of your customer communication does wind up in there because that's going to be what really helps set up the game for the future. But on the other side of that, at the end of the day, the biggest thing you want to be able to track inside of your CRM is understanding what is going to be your sales pipeline, what is going to be your sales forecast, as well as like where is your pipeline going, like where is it coming from, things like that. So you do want to try to get your marketing information inside of Salesforce, knowing where people came from, knowing which campaigns they were a part of. That way, of course, you can understand like what is driving pipeline. But you should be trying to make sure that you have good opportunity stages, you have good things set up like that, so you understand where are you at in your forecast, where are you at in your pipeline, so that way you can make sure you hit your numbers for this month or the following months. A lot of companies simply just use it as a place to store their contacts. And that's just not good enough. Like, you need to add more to that. You need to be able to use the reporting that's there for you to be able to kind of make sure that you can drive your team forward to grow your business. You can't really do that if you don't have pipelines set up. You don't have your pipeline stages set up or anything like that. So those would be some of the basics I would recommend getting started with. And then if you're going to push that forward, what you really, really want to do is make sure that your CRM is integrated in with your marketing automation tool. So if you have HubSpot CRM and HubSpot marketing automation, great, they're connected. But if you got Salesforce or Sugar or whatever it may be, you've got to connect something like a Pardot or a Marketo. Even HubSpot integrates in with Salesforce. You really need to get those two things connected because as your sales reps are doing things, you need that to be updated in the marketing world. And then the marketing world needs to make sales updated when they make changes too. But if you have those two things working together, you can automate a lot of your practices in Salesforce using that marketing automation tool to really drive your business forward, push growth, be able to push on marketing automation or personalization. So make sure as the big one, you have those two connected.